with Charles, where we talk about life as we see it. Today, our conversation is going to take a unique direction because we're going to be having the opportunity of reflecting, reviewing, observing, and really talking about life as we see it. My guest today um, is a very interesting guest, especially because she has a doctorate. She's got 25 years in the adult education space. And it's amazing how much work she's done to move the needle as far as human capacity building is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Life Class with Charles. Let us know where you're streaming in from. This is streaming on Facebook, it's streaming on YouTube, it's streaming on LinkedIn, and it's also streaming on Twitter. So, if you're listening to me at the moment, all you need to do is this is Peter and I'm listening in from XYZ. Don't forget, this is your show. So you have every leverage to ask questions, make contributions, and observations. The studio line will also be open today. You want to call in or you want to send in a WhatsApp message to ask a question or make an observation, the number to call 090 500 661. And if you're outside Nigeria, remember to include the code 234. Ladies and gentlemen, right here in front of us that you can already see is Kathryn McNaughton. Welcome, Kathryn, to the Life Class with Charles.
Thank you so much, Charles. It's just a real privilege to be here with you and your listeners today.
Amazing. Now, you sent me your bio. The Life Class with Charles is an informal conversation. So I'd like you to just introduce yourself to our audience across the world. Who is Kathryn?
You know, I'm going to try and pack this into a very brief time.
Right.
I was born and grew up on a farm,
Hmm.
and the first years of my life were spent in that rural environment in a very tightly knit family, a very strong connection to our faith community.
Hmm.
And in those days, there were few opportunities for young women like me from a working class background.
Hmm.
So I started by becoming a teacher of young children and really enjoyed that. And over the years, I went back to university and kept moving forward in my profession, married, had a family, and eventually found myself as a professor, teaching teachers, which I love that work and I love my colleagues, love the research, and then finished my academic career as a senior leader in a college environment.
Hmm.
And that was quite a series of decisions. And you've just been doing a series on decisions and what makes good decision making.
Right.
And one of the things that you've talked about is the decision of sacrifice. What do
Correct.
we give up to make a decision?
Hmm.
And in some ways, I gave up the fun, the autonomy, the security of being in a classroom where that's your space. You create that environment for yourself and your learners,
Hmm.
to being a leader where I think from the outside, people make an assumption, oh, that's where the power is. That's not really where the power is. You can be influential. You
Hmm.
can help guide people. You can help people make the decisions that they need to make. But when I say I gave something up, I definitely feel that I became a more public figure. As a
Hmm.
leader, people see you as often as the face of the institution.
That's right.
And so in some senses, the privacy that you may have is part of that sacrifice. And my decision was, honestly, where did I think I could make a difference?
Hmm.
And I thought I could make a difference by improving the systems, making people's lives better at work, supporting
Wow.
people to stand in their own creativity.
Hmm.
and really embrace what it was that they loved about being at work.
Hmm.
I also have had the opportunity to work in international settings, in China, in Trinidad and Tobago,
Wow.
in Zambia. So I've had that opportunity to see how people behave, think, how they construct their
Mhm.
own reality based on what's around them.
Wow. That's incredible, Kadi. In fact, it's just imagining how much leverage you've had um, across the world. When you said China and Trinidad and Tobago, it struck a chord with me. But I tell you, the most important thing that I can relate with today, you grew up in the farm. I grew up in the village that was around farm. My mama had a piggery, so I literally um, uh, can relate with the farm. Amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, this is the live class with Charles. It's your show. You have a question, you have a contribution, you have an observation. Just share with us in the chat box. Tell us where you're dialing in from, and tell us what you're thinking and how your thought processes are going. In a moment, I am going to be reading the live class with Charles. Life is like memories, and then we'll come back to the studio. Um, to Kathy and have her, share with us from her wealth of experience. I mean, I just can't wait to get into it. Don't forget, it's the live class with Charles. Those of us who want copies of the live class with Charles can always reach out to us, and we'll be right there, sharing with you. So it's a real book. It's not just an imagination, it's actually a real book, something that you and I can sit back, spend some time reading, reflecting, and then even talking about, so to speak. I tell you for sure, one of the things that has struck me, Kati, is that it seems like it's timeless. Some of the things we share here are timeless. And
Mm,
by the time I
mm,
read today's live class, I would want you to really tell me from your own perspective how it resonates with you, because I'm
mm,
sure that uh, when I shared the live class with you, you said to me, I really love this topic. And I thought to myself, then if you love it, then there's so much to say. So,
mm,
ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to the live class with Charles. Life is about memories. Life is about memories. Early this morning, while sitting through a flight, I thought about some happy childhood memories. I smiled and chuckled. Life is about memories. Good memories are like streams of water. They flood your soul and flush out debris of doubt and pain. Bad memories are like potholes. They make us move slowly, even on the highways, or like hot knife through butter, cutting our hearts in pieces. What memories are you giving your parents, your spouse, your child, your friend, your staff, your colleague, neighbor, and even your pets? Great memories linger long after great gifts wither. Life is about memories. The life class with Charles. Yeah, got it.
wow.
What was going through your mind when I read that? Tell me.
That's first of all very poetic, and what I was thinking about was that's so true. We go back to those happy memories when we need reassurance, when we need to feel loved, feel that we were valued, feel that we are
mm,
valued. And I've also been thinking so much about what brings back memories. So there you were, sitting on a plane, nothing much happening, having that opportunity just to be inside yourself. And you
right.
saw that those happy memories of you running around a little boy, maybe feeding the pigs with your mom, doing all those interesting things that you did as a little boy. And at the end of that, you felt happy, you were smiling, you were chuckling. It might have been, depending on the day or where you'd been before you got on that flight, that you would think about a more sober
Hmm.
memory. Maybe a time in your life where you had a conflict with someone or things hadn't quite gone your way. And and as you say, that slows us down. And I think when heard you say it's like a pothole, yes, it can be a barrier. And it can also be an opportunity for us to reflect more deeply on what we learned. What did we learn from that situation?
Right.
I
Okay.
certainly have memories that I have to say bring back feelings of embarrassment, of
Mm,
shame. Um, I'm not that person anymore. I would
mm,
never say that or do that anymore. And
wow.
so I think what memories help us realize is all the different aspects of who we are as
Hmm.
we grow and develop.
Hmm.
But I loved what you said about what kind of memories are we creating now for others. So if we're a manager, are we creating a memory for one of our direct reports of feeling effective, of feeling on top of what they're doing, of feeling recognized? Or are we building memories of, I'm not good enough, I I can't satisfy these expectations, I don't think I belong here? We have that power to create those memories in terms of how we relate to people. And also, I think what we think our purpose is. And when you talked about the memories we're creating for our spouses, for our children, do people want to remember? Do children want to remember? Oh, I grew up on the cleanest house in
Right.
my whole community, or do they want to remember my mom took us for a picnic, or every Sunday we had the family for dinner, or dad came and took us out of school and took us going skiing or swimming, or whatever is happening in that is available in that community. And you haven't said this word yet, but your life class excerpt, I think, just begs us to talk about it. What
Hmm.
are the values? What are the values that are driving us when we think about creating memories? Because when we're creating memories for others, that says something about the relationship we have with those people. Do we want them to be happy?
Hmm.
Do we want them to feel beholden to us in some way?
Hmm.
Do How do we want them to feel and think about us? So that's what was going through my head.
Wow. Now, it's powerful that you said this, especially because you said that, memories, the various memories in our lives show the different pages or
Mm,
sides to us.
yeah.
So rarely do you find a person who's got all wonderful memories.
No.
All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, life is like memories. Share with us in the chat box your happiest memory. Something you remember now that brings you joy, or something you remember that makes you smile. I'd like you to share in the chat box if you're listening on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or on YouTube. Just share with us something, some kind of memory that makes you smile. It's the Life Class with Charles, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to ask you, Kathy, what do you do really with those memories that are beautiful? Those memories that bring, that are nostalgic. So they
Mm.
really, you will call them happy memories. I wanted to walk us through, people are listening right now, a memory or that time in your life that brought you so much joy, and what you make out of it today. It's a memory.
Mm.
So,
Right.
what are you doing with that memory today? Tell us some memorable experience you've had in the positive and what you're doing with that memory today.
So many things. So
Hmm.
many things that I could relate to.
Right.
Um, and one that is really standing out right now for me in my adult life, is that something that I can share?
Yes.
Uh, I I completed a PhD at Arizona State University.
Hmm.
And in their convocation ceremonies, there's very big graduating classes. So the whole class stands up and is acknowledged and gets their degree. Even people with master's degrees come in a group, but
Hmm.
only doctoral students walk across the stage as individuals. And the my whole time that I was there, I taught in the School of Education. And when I crossed the stage, I got my diploma from the president of the university, and my students stood up and cheered. And my father was in the audience, my husband was in the audience,
Hmm.
and that memory of the love from my family, from my students. And the president said, "Oh, you brought your own cheering section." So, there's that sense of humor, and also just that that feeling of accomplishment, and recognizing it wasn't just me. My
Hmm.
students were part of it, my family was part of it, my instructors were part of it. So it was that lovely balance of individual and community.
Wow.
And that and I think that's what I take from that memory, is that I touched the lives of my students. They
Hmm.
affected me, um, and that it is, I think it's almost impossible, Charles, to think of an accomplishment that we might have in our lives that we did all by ourselves.
That is correct.
And that's what that makes me think about.
Hmm. 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 This is interesting because just in Africa, for example, and I'm sure this applies everywhere in the world, they often say that no one person raises a child, the community raises a child. We are the product of our community. So every success is a contribution of everyone that we met on the way to that destination.
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting. And now, so that leaves you flawed, lots of memories, lots of memories. Okay. We've talked about really creating memories, but I want to talk about how do we create memories in the present.
Mm.
Okay. What is it that can enable a person create a memory that is worth looking back to?
I think that's a wonderful question. And I think it really dovetails very well with the series of conversations you've been having about decisions.
Hmm.
So we are faced with thousands of decisions every day. We make thousands of decisions every day.
Right.
Many of those decisions, we probably think there's no stakes to this. There's no consequence. There's no real outcome. However, you can make a decision about the tone of voice you have with someone.
Hmm.
You can smile at someone in the corridor on the way to your office. You can maybe you're in line at the coffee shop and the person in front of you doesn't have quite enough change for their coffee. You could pay for
Mhm.
their coffee.
Okay.
You
Wow.
could say, or maybe it's a difficult conversation. How are you going to approach that? Are you going to treat that person with respect, even though their behavior was not appropriate or their decision wasn't the right one in the circumstance? I really think that we can approach every interaction, and of course we don't do this. We're human. We fly off the handle. We're spontaneous. But if we can really think about what do I want that other person to go away with?
Hmm.
Do I want them to feel respected? Do I want them to feel, and as a coach, you've heard this 1,000 times, seen, heard, and understood? I think if we move from that core of values or principles, we will be creating positive, happy memories. And not only that, we're creating trusting relationships.
Hmm.
We're creating in a world that is so harsh and difficult and challenging.
Hmm.
We as individuals can demonstrate it is possible to have joy. It is possible to be supportive. It is possible to be generous. So I think there's a real connection here between what we value, what we believe is uplifting behavior,
Mhm.
and the
Mhm.
kinds of memories that we're going to create. Because I think for ourselves, if we are able to bring that sense of respect and harmony to our
Hmm.
relationships,
Hmm.
we'll be creating better memories too.
Wow. Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, the topic is life is like memories, and I just asked Catherine an important question: how do we create memories? You're a builder. You can build memories, and she said something so powerful: seen, heard, understood. When you go out to meet people in your daily activities, let those who meet with you or those who you meet feel seen, heard, and understood. When people feel seen, feel heard, and feel understood, you have created a memory. Pay for someone's coffee, lend a helping hand. Just reminds me, Kathy, about one very interesting theme song. It says, "You've got to try a little kindness, show a little kindness, shine your light for everyone to see." Wow. You know, that is something that you can build your memories. What you do today becomes tomorrow's memory, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And again, we don't. We're often so busy, I think,
Hmm.
that we forget to take that step back
Hmm.
and say, okay, or maybe maybe people think, oh, I'm just one person.
Mhm.
What can I do? I can't do anything. I don't matter. I don't believe that. I think we all matter,
Mhm.
and our behavior matters to those people around us.
Mhm.
And it might take time to feel confident and comfortable, being more open, to be welcoming. Because I think depending on the culture we've grown up with or the culture where we work,
Mhm.
people might say, "Oh, my culture at work, it's not a kind culture. It's a
Mhm.
culture of timelines and deadlines and production expectations, and there's no room for me to be a person." And I that certainly can be really valid. I guess I would just say, if you don't feel that that's a place where you can show yourself as a human, what's the smallest possible step that you could take that would help that environment be a little bit better.
Hmm.
Maybe it's as simple as washing the dishes in the break room, right? Maybe it's as simple as saying good morning to someone.
Wow.
And I know, Charles, that you're a lawyer and maybe you've even seen some of these cases in your own practice where something has escalated to the point of legal intervention.
Right.
In the beginning of that event was
Hmm.
someone thought they were being disrespected. Their feelings got hurt. And we are so, we're not very careful with other people's feelings. And so I guess I would just ask us to think about that. How how do we want to be treated? How do we want to treat others? It makes a real difference. And I see we're getting happy memories shared with us. That's wonderful. Oh,
Oh, Kari, I lost you for a moment.
yes, I'm glad you're back. I was just saying we have a lovely happy memory Shirley has shared with us. That's terrific.
Oh, really? Where's her comment?
Shirley says, "Hello, Charles and Kathryn. I'm enjoying your topic, and it's a meaningful, legitimate one. So true. A happy memory for me was when my mother had purchased some new tile to replace her great room's flooring. And after sitting for so long and no one was attempting to lay the new floor, so one day everyone was away, and I'd never done anything like that. But I took it on, removed the old flooring and all the goop that was stuck to the floor, measured the entire room, including the different angles and baseboards, and paved the floor like a professional. My mom came home, the look on her face, her response was priceless.
Oh,
She asked
wow.
who helped, and I replied, me, myself, and I. Tears came to my mom's eyes with joy that her 16-year-old could do such a thing so well after never ever doing it before. Oh, Shirley, that's amazing.
Oh, my
What a
goodness.
fabulous thing to do.
Oh, incredible, Shirley. I can't, I can't relate with that experience, because you were not prompted, you were not forced, you were not prodded. You just took the initiative. You just took the initiative. And you'll never forget that for the rest of your life. The joy that you brought your mother, just thinking that you did it without her asking you to have done it, and you solved the problem or you met a need. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the life class with Charles, and life is like memories. We're asking everyone connecting from different parts of the world to share with us what is that memory that whenever you remember, it makes you smile. It makes you smile. You're pleased with it. So, are you listening on LinkedIn, on Twitter Space, on Facebook, or on YouTube? Share that memory with us. You want to call in, just do that as well. We're all waiting to share your memory with you because life is like memories. Kathy has been talking about how to create the right memories, and I did ask her another important question, which she's drawn some kind of powerful analogy. You might be in a place where you don't like the culture. How do I create these memories, right? I don't like the culture. I don't like the way things are. She's saying the little things you do can actually make a difference. Smile, greet someone, extend a hand of fellowship. Just be kind. Do something where you are that leaves a memory. Now, Kathy, I want us to circle back into the life class, talking about homes now. How can a spouse create a memory for their partner?
That's such a great question. And my husband and I have been married for 3 decades.
Wow.
And I have to say, we laugh every day.
Wow.
And I so often think, we were friends first.
Hmm.
And I think it's about love, of course, but it's also about, what do I admire about this person? What do I value about this person? And what do I value about our partnership? And that's not, I mean, of course we have disagreements. Of course we don't come at things from the same way, but we were actually talking about this the other day. And I think what has helped us, what is helping us create great memories is that we are conscious about what we're doing,
Hmm.
and we are grateful for what we have been able to build together.
Hmm.
We've sacrificed, we've made decisions to be apart when things required that,
Hmm.
and we've also really been, and again I'm going to come back to that word, we've been very conscious of living without regret.
Wow.
And I think that that means, and I've had to change my own behavior. I can be very sharp and be, demanding, and I've had to really rethink how I ask questions, how I make suggestions,
Hmm.
and really make space for that other important person in my life. So it's not about the flowers, it's not about the candy, it's not about the gifts. It's about the day to day. Yesterday we did some baking together. Um, you know, we live in a place where there's some lovely farmers markets, so we go to the farmers market, get groceries and stuff together. Go to art galleries. Talk about little decisions. Talk about big decisions.
Hmm.
And a good friend of ours passed away recently, and that really provoked some serious conversations on our part about our memories of that friend and about the memories that he created with his family. And it's about, sometimes it's about the big things, but
Hmm.
I think more often it's about the little things. It's about, oh, you did the dishes, or oh, um, I know that that's something my husband will love for supper. I'm going to pick that up today. Or oh, I know he really wants to see that movie. I'm going to make sure that we get to see that. So I think it's about um, trying to imagine, trying to put yourself in the other person's shoes,
Oh, wow.
but maybe also, Charles, and maybe this is the deeper part. It's about expectations. So, what do I expect a wife to be? What do I expect a husband to be? Do I have a realistic idea of what that relationship can be? And I think in so many different cultures, we are the media and other messages that young people see. Maybe they think that marriage is different than it turns out to be.
Hmm. Expectations. Thank you, Catherine. Just listening to you talk about how to create memories for your spouse, I'm gleaning a lot. First thing here is you laugh every day.
Yeah.
And laughter is it's like medicine.
Yes.
finding reason to laugh every day. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you a couple listening to this? Are you a wife, a husband? You've got a partner. Here's a goal for us set by Kati. Laugh every day. Find something to laugh about every day. Laugh at each other. Laugh at each other. Now, again, you said communicate. We talk about it, the small stuff, the big stuff. The third thing is we are conscious.
Hmm.
We are conscious. I see something you like, I want to get it for you. I know something you want. You may not have asked me, but I create that thing for you. Just being conscious. So, from just listening to you, it doesn't have to be the flowers. It doesn't have to be so expensive. It doesn't have to be you know, um, the account shifting decision. You know.
Well, I know you love music, so I'm going to share. There's a song by the Commitments called "Try a Little Tenderness,"
Okay.
and maybe that's what we're thinking about here too. If
Right.
if we can take that again, it goes back to how do we want to be treated,
Right.
and how are we going to treat others?
Right. Right. Brilliant. Powerful. How do we want to be treated, and how are we going to treat others? So, I want to throw this into the mix, Kathy. I've asked this question a lot of times as a relationship management enthusiast. Do we treat others the way we want them to treat us? Number one. Or should we treat others the way they deserve to be treated?
Oh, that's a really interesting question, and I think that really should make us stop in our tracks and think about it, because my assumption when I hear you say that is, or I guess the assumption of all of us when we ask those questions is, how do I see that other person? Do I
Right.
see them as equal to me? And if so, then automatically they are due the respect and concern of a human being. I think what you're really asking, and this is how I'm going to interpret it, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, it's really about the behavior that that person has conveyed. So, is it something about their behavior
Mhm.
that makes me want to treat them in a different way because I don't agree with their values or because their behavior harmed me in some way? Of course, that's going to change how we relate to that person. And I think another thing that comes into that then is, do I have any control in this situation?
Mm.
So, am I in a position where I can say to that individual, um, let's say it's something like they made a serious mistake in the bookkeeping.
Mhm.
I can still have that conversation to point out the error, talk
Mhm.
about the consequences. I can still do that, recognizing that this is a person who maybe needs support.
Mhm.
Can I give them the benefit of the doubt? But I still have to make those errors and that behavior clear to them. Maybe it's a politician. I don't like how that person has behaved. Maybe they've behaved in a way that is, I find it very offensive. Well, I have the power of my vote. I don't have to
Right.
support that person.
Right.
Or I can write a letter, or I can demonstrate. Um, so I think that I think what you're getting at is really critical. Um, I'm not saying that kindness is naive.
Mm.
I think sometimes it's very challenging to be kind. I think
Agree.
it's very challenging to, um, always be trying to give people the benefit of the doubt.
That's correct.
But your question was about, do we treat them as we want to be treated? Yes.
Yes.
But it also reminds us that there's a behavior there too that we can't ignore. And I also don't want people to walk away from our conversation thinking, "Oh, she doesn't bring discernment or broader critical thinking." Yes, I do.
Okay.
But um, I still believe that value of being open and kind it is going to work to our benefit in the final analysis.
Right. Now you said something, and I'm going to write a Twitter to read um, questions and contributions from those on Twitter. I want to throw this open to everyone who's listening in right now: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen, and tell us what your perspectives are. Do you treat people the way they treat you? First question: should you treat people the way they treat you? Second question: should you treat them the way you want them to treat you? And third, should you treat people the way they deserve to be treated? So, first question, ladies and gentlemen: should I treat others the way I want them to treat me? Should I treat others the way they treat me? Reaction. Or should I treat others the way they deserve to be treated? We'd like to see your comments, your contributions, and your observations as far as that question is concerned. Shelley's reading in here again, says, thank you immensely, Charles and Kathryn. And these topics should happen more often in our universe today. In closing, we are all God's children, no separation, and our energies and blood have been cross mixed. We have a kindred spirit and are viewed upon as God's children. I don't tolerate hatred in any fashion, but I rather believe in supporting good people for a good cause. And may your husband and you have at least 3+ more anniversaries. That's for you, Kathy. And I love your mindset. You deserve something special. Your heart is a good heart, and it brings a wonderful, true smile to my face. Thanks so much, Shelley Woods. That's really touching and heartfelt. It's the life class with Charles, and we're talking about life is like memories. Life is about memories. What you do today forms tomorrow's memory. We just talked about how we can leave good memories with our spouse or our partners in life. Now, let's talk about how we can leave good memories with our children, Kathy. How do
Yeah.
I create
Yeah.
good
I,
memories?
I think that is such an important topic. And speaking for myself, I think so many of us feel we didn't do enough for our children, or we think about the mistakes that we've made. And yet I look at our 4 adult children. They're wonderful people. They're doing such good work in the world. And and I often think, wow, did I have anything to do with this at all? Like, wow, these
Uh-huh.
are such fabulous people. And I really think it is, again, if I could go back, I would just spend more time playing with my kids, being with my children, just enjoying their, just enjoying them.
Right.
Um, we get so caught up, and I really feel for young parents and parents of any age, really. It's such a challenging world to raise children right now,
Mhm.
and I'm sure many parents feel it's not a safe world for their children, and so they they want to protect their children. When I grew up, and even when my children were growing up, um, I felt absolutely confident for them to ride their bikes in the city, to play in the backyard on their own, to go to their friends' homes. My brother and I, we grew up on a farm. We were jumping out of haystacks and, doing all kinds of stuff, running around with the dogs and the cats.
Right.
I think there are many parents who feel they can't do that. And so there's that sense of always being alert.
Mm,
And so I think when I think about what kind of memories, it's again, it's those little everyday, you know, telling your children stories, um, asking them how their day went.
right.
And you might have to be really consistent with that. They might say, oh, fine, or it was just school. But if you can be consistent and just keep asking, I think we have to also let our children know that we see them and that we're trying to understand them and hearing them. And I, because my children are adults, maybe the culture of parenting has changed, but
Mm,
I certainly was a parent in a time where you felt judged by how you were treating your children,
mm,
or you were concerned about how your children would turn out. And so I think that parents are often um, maybe they're confused about, how do I help my children learn to behave appropriately?
mm,
What values do I want my children to learn? How am I being a role model? It is a big responsibility to be a parent. And I
right.
think all of those things start to cover up the real love that we have. And maybe, Charles, there are some circumstances where we're almost afraid to just love and accept those wonderful little children because we're so worried about them. We're so concerned about their future. We want them to be successful, and we feel almost paralyzed to do the right thing. So, when we talk about creating memories with our children, I think it comes down to just being with them, enjoying them, laughing with them. The best advice my mother ever gave me about raising teenagers was just keep talking,
Wow.
just keep communicating. And I think that stands the test of time.
Mm, mm. Wow. Wow. Incredible. Just keep talking.
Mm.
Just keep communicating. It reminds me about my mother. Something she did, I find really interesting. I can never forget that because it's a memory. My mom will wake me up in the middle of the night just to talk. I
Mm.
mean, in the dead of the night, she'll come into my room and wake me up, and then I'll wake up, and then she'll say, I want to talk to you, and she'll let me get out of my sleepy nature and then talk to me and then tell me things, tell me about me, tell me what it was like when I was growing up, tell me the experiences she had, tell me the challenges she had, and then generally just give me counsel. But she did this, Kathy, in the dead of the night.
Maybe she thought she would have your complete attention then.
She did. She did. I can never
No
get over it.
distractions.
Yeah, I can never get over it. In the dead of the night. It was never like, breakfast or lunch or dinner. No, no. Everybody's going about their affairs. You all go to sleep like there's nothing to worry about. And then in the dead of the night, she shows up. Mama shows up to tell you about life.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that because here's a key. Here's a key. I hope you all caught it, ladies and gentlemen. For teenagers, the key is keep talking. And then for children, I mean, we never outgrow our parents, right? So one thing you should do, spend time with them. Spend more time with them. Just be there, play with them, do their thing, be there. More time should be invested with children to create memories. I want us to talk about, Kathy, preserving memories that have been created.
Ah. I was actually thinking about that in preparation for our conversation, thinking about all of the ways that we preserve our memories. Photographs.
Okay.
I think every kind of creative output. So, painting, drawing, um, maybe writing a poem, writing a book. Um, Maybe for some people, it's choreographing a dance. It might
Hmm.
be writing a piece of music.
Hmm.
It might be telling a story. So I think that preservation is always an act of creation.
Hmm.
And I'm right now I'm looking at family photos from the late 19th century to our grandson's graduation picture from last year. And all of those images immediately bring back memories of that person, and then a whole cascade of memories of interacting with those people, fun times we've had. So I think it's about that creative energy
Hmm.
that, and I know again, if we're in a family that has to move around a lot, or we may not have acquired a lot of things,
Hmm.
but how many times do people go back to the photos on their phone and enjoy those? And those photos remind them of those happy times. And people might not think that taking a photo with their phone is very creative, but it captures the moment.
That's right.
And I think that it enables us to return. And that's what a memory is. It enables us to return to that time.
Hmm. Just saying that is incredibly transformative. A memory enables you return. I
Mm.
can live in the past through a memory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, like a little time machine.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. I can go back.
Yes. Yeah. And also at the same time, coming back to what you read from your book today, even when the memory isn't so great, even when
Mhm,
it slows us down,
mhm.
there's a purpose to that slowing down, I think. It enables us to reconsider and learn and become more aware.
Right. I was coming to that, Kathy, because let's say, for example, that you created a bad memory, and it's there. You can't change history.
Mm,
The question is, what do you do? What do you do about a memory that isn't palatable? A
mm,
memory that is not memorable. What should a person do? Someone is listening right now and saying, "Oh, life is like memories." I agree, but I've got things that when I remember them, I'm downcast.
sure. Of course, we all have those.
So what do you
I
do about
well, I think the concept of forgiveness can
it? Okay.
really play a role here. The concept of acceptance,
Hmm.
accept accepting ourselves. We're
Hmm.
not perfect. We make mistakes. We
Hmm.
said the wrong thing.
Hmm.
We inadvertently hurt someone.
Hmm.
If we can't learn from that,
Hmm.
I think that we're missing an opportunity to build our self-awareness and
That's
and
right.
essentially to build our compassion.
Hmm.
But no, it's not all going to be pleasant. Some of those memories are going to be shameful, embarrassing. Some of those memories will make us feel angry all over again.
Mm,
And then it's okay, as you say, I can't change that,
right.
but what can I do differently the next time?
Okay. So that's a question. I can't change it because you can't change history. But what can I do the next time? So, number one, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And then, what can I do better next time?
Mm,
How do I correct it? How do I make amends?
yeah.
How do I change the narrative? And I like both perspectives because there are some things you can correct, maybe time, location, situations, so you don't get a second chance. But then you have a chance to forgive yourself. You always have a chance to forgive yourself. And that is the most powerful thing you have said today about bad memories, embarrassing memories, mistakes we've made. Forgive yourself. And then if you have an opportunity to make amends, to make a correction, to make an adjustment, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
In this final moment, Kathy, I'm just wondering, what would you have said to us today, right up in your mind, that you haven't shared yet?
Um, Two things. Be kind. It's
Okay,
always possible to be kind. And that two really important words are I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Wow. Be kind and I am sorry. Wow. On Facebook credits, someone says he derives joy from helping other people. It creates great memories. That's what Sunday's saying on Facebook. Uh, Napoleon here says, very useful conversation. Memories influence our daily decisions in no
Mm,
small measure.
mm,
Great, great.
I would
Thanks,
agree.
Napoleon. And Shelley's here. Shelley is our most interactive contributor today. She said so much. Shelley says, I believe a lot of folks are wishing they were able to join in on these topics. You know, she says she loves that song. I'm attempting tenderness always because it carries over so well, allowing people to receive me better. But I mean it because it adds a certain special, endearing feeling. It is very challenging to be kind. I've been taken advantage of because I was so kind and open, yet generous. Cuteness and warmth, that's usually reciprocated. Now, I can connect with what Shelley's saying. Um, Ripe fruits always attract stones. They want to pluck it, they want to harvest it, right? So when you're kind, when you're loving, there are people who will take advantage of you, and you're going to be in demand also. What is important here is to be conscious, just like uh, I heard you say, Kathy. Be conscious. Be conscious. Make sure you're creating the right memories for others, and above all, make sure you're creating the right memories for yourself too.
Yeah.
You can't give what you don't have.
And you know
Yeah,
what, Charles? I
right,
think it just comes down to who do we want to be? Who do we
mm,
want to be in the world?
right. Who do we want to be in the world? Who do we want to be in the world? What do we want to be remembered for? We've got to that point, ladies and gentlemen, where I read to us again the live class with Charles, and when I come back, I'll do the credits. Life is about memories. Early this morning, while sitting through a flight, I thought about some happy childhood memories. I smiled and chuckled. Life is about memories. Good memories are like streams of water. They flood your soul and flush out debris of doubt and pain. Bad memories are like potholes. They make you move slowly, even on a highway, or like hot knife through butter, cutting our hearts in pieces. What memories are you giving your parent, spouse, child, friend, staff, colleague, neighbor, and even your pets? Great memories linger long after great gifts wither. Life is about memories. A life class with Charles. All right. Thank you so much, Kathy, for doing this with us.
Oh, thank you, Charles. It was just a pleasure to have this opportunity to chat with you. Thank you.
All right. I want to thank Shelley Woods. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your observations as well. I want to thank Napoleon. I want to thank Sonny. I want to thank everyone who connected from different parts of the world and all those who connect even to the late broadcast. We look forward to reading your questions. And if Kathy has to respond to them later on, I'll send them up to her and then she will come back with her perspective, even on LinkedIn, so to speak. I want to thank you all for listening today, for tuning in. Thank you also for contributing. But above all, whatever you do, be the best, the very best. Bye for now.
Thanks, Charles. Bye bye.